off to the side here, doing all my normal stuff. I have come on just a couple of minutes early, just to make sure that I'm set up and ready to go on time. So let me just turn my volume off, because otherwise I'm going to be echoing on myself. Oh, and this is off again with the droopy droop. Why are you doing that? That is so silly. Oh. Stay, phone, stay. I bet it droops again. Oh, I didn't get to turn the volume down in time. Okay, it's got one other thing to set up. So sorry about that horrible noise. Now look, we're drooping again. Right, that's it. I've had enough. I've had enough of this. I don't know why you're doing it. You're really getting on my nerves. I know a thing that'll get on your nerves, get on your nerves. I can't tighten that up anymore. We're just going to have to put up with a bit of droop. Why he's afraid. Oh, helps if you go onto live, Carol. Live does help, not video. Okay. Switch that on. Okay, and back to, oh, there's some of you already here. That's lovely to see. Hey, oh, we're drooping again. We're drooping. Look at it. Look at that. Look, slowly going. Woo. I'm going to bring it down. Right, if you're going to do that, we're going to do that. Is there? No. Is there? Oh. I want. Oh. There's a screw up there. I bet you that keeps coming loose, because it's that bit that keeps tilting. I am sorry about this, guys. It seems to be getting worse. I thought I'd fixed it, but obviously not. Let me just get me pliers on it and see if that'll do the trick, or if I go and snap it. Right, that's not going to do it. Right, and I haven't got a screwdriver up here. You'll just have to put up with me keep changing the blooming camera. Right, hello there Cindy, hello there Alison, hello there Diane, hello there Nicola from Wales, Welsh Wales. Oh, and you've all got your crowns coming up as well. I do apologise about this slipping. That is really annoying. I'm going to bring you forward a little bit more. Okay, so that's right in my way, but let's hope that that helps a little bit so that it's not straining on the weight of my phone. Hi there, Jan. Okay, so it's definitely drooping again, isn't it? Yeah. Definitely true. Oh, it stopped drooping. Okay. We're just going to have to put up with it. Sorry about this. So, apologies that I forgot to post on Friday that there wasn't going to be a live. Doing this Junk Journal July embellishments has thrown me somewhat, because I'm making a video every single day. And of course that there's been a method in like doing the video, uploading the video, doing the video, editing the video, uploading the video in the afternoon and the evening, getting stuff ready for the next video. It's just been constant every day. I'm going to move them up there. Hi there, Kim. Hi there, Sandra. I just completely forgot to post that there wasn't going to be a live because I had other personal things that I'd got to tend to. Anyway, part of today's live show is something that I've already done before, but the reason behind me making it is because I want to cover collage, which is part of using up your scraps. And I want to show you these two books, and I need to make probably another half dozen, and what I'm going to use these for, and give you an alternative of what you can use one of these for, or two of these for, and a different way of kind of making it. As I say, the technique that I'm going to use is something that I've used before. Now then, on saying that, I just want to quickly cover this. Again, a lot of you will have already seen this. This is an old diary, and at the beginning of every new year, they sell them off dead cheap, like 50p here in the UK. They'll sell off old diaries. And as you can see, look, I started this one on the 1st of May in 2022, so I haven't got very far in it, have I? But basically, what I've done with some of my scraps is I've just stuck them within the diary itself. Every other page, so not that page, and then that page, but not that page. Oh, spare bit. And I kind of got better with it. I experimented a bit in the beginning, and I kind of got better at it as time went on. The more I kind of did it, you know, learning that, you know, they don't all have to be small pieces, because of the size of the page that I was creating them on. You know, they needed to be a little bit bigger, but not minutely small. So, yeah. And in fact, here, look, so you can see I cut one out and made it into a tag. And then I've tried to keep them in colourways as well, as you can see. I think, if I remember correctly, because it's been a little while since I've looked at this, so I've still got all these pages to go, all of those pages still to go, and then towards the back I started doing some reds. Oh, and a blue one apparently. Oh, and I've all them pages to go. I thought I'd do the back pages. I thought I'll do for Chrissy Moose colours and all the rest of the pages in other colours. But anyway, so when did I make that one? 3rd of May 2022. Oh, in fact, 2 tags, look. No, they didn't come from the same page. But anyway, just interesting fact that you could use any book you want, but I use this diary as a means of just collaging scraps of paper, because A, it gets rid of your scraps, and then B, I can go and utilise a copy of these, and then cut up the photocopies and keep the originals. So there you go. That was that bit. Bonjour, Talisma. I don't know how to say your name. I'm very sorry. Okay, so on to today's project. Now, I've made these two already, but I want to collage the front cover of my next one, which is why I thought I'll do that in today's live so that you can actually see me doing some collaging. But the reason why I've done these books and why I'm going to be making quite a lot more is that I'm going to use them for storing all my cutout bits and pieces. Now, this particular book, I used vellum pockets. And of course, one of the problems that you've got with gluing in the vellum pockets is if you put too much in the pocket can actually pop off. Hi there, Kathy. And so it causes a little bit of a problem. Anyway, I think I found an alternative, but I'm going to come to that later, which is why I'm not going to show you the inside of this book, because I've actually utilised my new idea in this one. Now the other alternative, and in fact no, I'll tell you what the other alternative is in a minute. I'm going to start collaging my cover because I need to allow that to dry. So let's talk about the cover first and collaging. So basically I'm just using an Amazon envelope and the measurement of this envelope, and I've already loosened the two flaps at the side. So the size of this one is 9 inches long by just under 7 inches wide. Now bear in mind I am in the UK and we use different size paper to our friends over the pond, so this will need to be cut down slightly to accommodate my papers. But for now what I'm going to do is I've loosened these flaps and I'm going to cut them off. Where's my squizzers? There we go. So I'm just going to cut those off for now so that they're out the way. And I know that I will need to trim the height of this, and I'll also need to trim the width. But I'm going to leave it as it is for now because I want to... No, I don't. I want to cut it down beforehand. Oh, get your brain in gear, Carol. Okay. Okay. Ignore what I just said. So this is going to be my paper, which again I shall come to shortly, but I want to use it as my measurement because I don't like measuring stuff. I'm a lazy monkey. Right, so let's put it down to the bottom. So I want a little bit of space at the bottom. Oh, am I in shot for that? I want a little bit of space at the bottom and I want a little bit of space at the top. So I'm going to cut it there. And I also want a little bit of space here. Okay, so I'm going to trim that down. I've just got to mind that I don't knock the camera. Oh, it's the famous Becky. So yeah, so I figured because I was doing a little bit of collaging today on those Tim Holt strips, and can I tell you, I love making those. I'm going to be making quite a few of those, but I'm going to wait. Until August, after I've finished this little journey of Junk Journal July embellishments. God, that has been such a mouthful to say. And see what I've got left. And oh, there we go. And then I'm going to make some more with some of what I've got left. Okay, are you going to fit in that way? Ooh, you are. I'm having to dodge my head round the camera. There we go. So again, the other good thing about not giving measurements is that we haven't got this confusion about me being in the UK and having different paper sizes. I've flopped again a little bit. Stop flopping, camera. Alright, so that will now accommodate my paper with a little bit of a border all the way around. Okay. So if I open it up, I'm going to collage over this piece of card. But what I want to do is when I collage the pieces, I want to extend beyond the edge of the card, both on each of the sides and also on the top and bottom, because I want to be able to fold those around. So I sorted some collage papers out, and this is the image that I'm going to put on the front of this particular one. Again, I will need to chop it down to size. So I've tried to use fairly neutral colours for my collaging. This is hard to do around this camera. Let me just, hang on, make myself a bit of space. So I'm just going to rip some of these because I want some large and I want some small or smaller. So oops. And they don't have to be ripped. You can actually cut them out. Like that piece, but I can't use it that size because that will take up quite a lot of space. So if I do it in half, okay, and I like to this section down here. Ooh. Because the thing is, I can glue these on and then they can be off to the side drying. Now then, can I have a hands up? Those of you that are watching now, have you been watching the Junk Journal July embellishments? And if so, have you enjoyed following those along? Okay, let's do you about there. Dumbledore. Dumbledore, for those of you that don't know, is Pooch. So you can see I'm doing some large, some small, or smaller. Karen's put, I have been following. Kim's put, watch them all and love them. Excellent. Now then, you've been watching, but have you been making? Haha. That's, have you been making any of these things? That one's already part ripped there, so we'll do you there. Do you there. I'm going to leave this as a long bit because I can use this as a bit of a filler inner, so that if I've got lots of empty spaces, then I can rip it down further and fill in some empty spaces. Same with you. Let's do a bit of you, and then I'm going to make a start. Oh, Alison's been making. Lovely. Kim says she's fallen a little behind, but she'll catch up. Becky's put nope, of course, so I don't get to do any making. Oh, Cindy's put sick dog this month, so no crafting. Jan's put I have been making some, but you have been posting on the Facebook page as well, Jan. So well done, you. It's lovely seeing other people's things because I get a bit sick and tired of looking at my own stuff all the time, and I don't think you guys kind of realise that really. Arta's put, yes, I've been watching them all. I did the window tags. Oh, well done, Arta. Did you enjoy making those? There's a little bit more to them than some of the other things. But I tell you what, it's been real handy having some of that stuff to hand. Right, I think we've got enough to play with for now. And I can always call on some more if I need to. Put them off to the side. Okay, so that's going to be my front cover. And bearing in mind that this is going on the front, I'm going to put some of the uglier papers on that bit. In fact, hang on. Yeah, put some of them on just so as it evens it out so that it's not, there's no dip in it. So we'll start with you. Let's do you that way. So I want to rip you about there. Okay. Because I don't want to waste my good stuff and put the good stuff to then have it hidden by a picture. Who's had me glue sticks? Good, Arthur. I'm glad you enjoyed. Diane's put, I watched and enjoyed but not made any yet. Okay. Now it's quite warm up here today, so this will be quite loose and sticky, so I can't press too hard because I'll end up with lumps of glue on my paper. So let's stick that one on. Roughly about there. I have to tell you, I was cursing loads this morning. There was a young lass moved in next door, and within the first few days she started playing her music really loud, and she's got one of them boom boxes, so the bass was coming through the walls like there was no tomorrow, and it was driving me nuts. So I went and had a word with her, and she was lovely. Turned it down very kindly. There was no argy-bargy. And so we've had a couple of words. All very pleasant. And then today, she decided to have her music on, and she'd got either a friend or family staying with her. And had it booming again. And I'm trying to record today's Junk Journal July embellishments, and I couldn't hear myself think, and I went to have a word to say, could you just for a bit just turn it down, and excuse me terminology, she turned arsey on me and kind of shut the door on me. I was a bit like, whoa, hang on a minute. Anyway, she then proceeded to turn it up. And I'm trying to concentrate on making this video. And it was really quite distracting. Anyway, she's gone out. So a friend who was staying with her was saying, but this is what Sundays are for. And it's like, no, it's not, actually. And it's about being considerate to neighbours. Thank you very much. Okay. I'm filling in the central area first, because as I say, I want the other bits overhanging, and we can have things vertical, horizontal. Put you there, and we're offsetting stuff, and we can overlap. So it's horrible when you've got a neighbour that is just not considerate. And then she proceeded to tell me that she has to put up with the dogs yapping at 11 o'clock at night. Invariably, I'm in bed by about 8, 9 o'clock. So I'm thinking, oh dear, dear, dear. So yeah, so that went down today. So I'm going to put you there. Well, do you know, there's something to be said for living in the middle of nowhere and not having to put up with neighbours. Especially ones that can get arsey with you. Are you going to... Ooh, look, you're going to fit on there beautiful. Right, so you're going to go there, but we're not going to stick you down yet. But we can have you there, and you can curl round, but we're not going to stick you down just yet. So I want another piece in here. Oh, and in fact, oh no, you're just a bit too long. So if I do that, where do I want to go up to? About there. So you can go there, and you're long enough to flip under. Okay, so I want a piece in this corner. So that goes beyond, and it goes beyond there, so that piece will fit in nicely there. Ooh, we're nearly there. So we could put you there. So then you can go over and you can go over. What, a little bit there. A little bit of diddly do. Yeah, so you can go there. Okay, let me glue those down. So how many of you have actually had a go at collaging? And do you like it? The other thing that I'm trying to do as well is this is the centerfold, so I'm trying to put big pieces over the centerfold so that it makes it evenly equal when you come to fold it over. Okay, you want to go over there. Yeah, they are rather hit and miss, aren't they? Okay, so you want to go like that. Okay, bit of glue on the bottom there. Because the thing is, all this that's overhanging the edge, I can trim this down afterwards to square it all up. Okay, you're going to go there. Let me put you on first, I think. Yep. I think the reason why I quite like doing collage is that it's actually quite relaxing, because it doesn't take a lot of thinking about, really. I think I want a bit more under there, don't I? There we go. And I love crafting when you can just switch your head off. So like, it's been bugging me about this young lass all day, because I feel now as though we've kind of fallen out somewhat. Oh, which way around did I have it? Oh, I might have to fit an extra bit in. Let me do you that way around. So I'm just checking that my line here at the bottom that I'm kind of covered. So doing this kind of helps because, you know, it switches your brain off. I'll come back to that little bit in a minute. Okay. So, oh, that's the bottom of that, so I can't use that. Maybe if I do that, similar colour. So I'm not going to do that. Okay, let's put you on. Similar size. To rip you down, because we want different sizes. Okay, so we want that bit covering in glue. And it's going over the centre fold, so that's good. Okay, how are we diddling? Maybe I could use that bit over there. And then that covers that little spot up. Oh, almost putting it on back to front. Okay. There. Let's have some of this dark down here. Don't want it all the same kind of height. Let me just check. So I want to extend it to there, and it's got to go to there. So round about there. It's all technical stuff, this, you know. I've another question for you. It's the final pieces that stump you. Final pieces as in, once this bit is done, what do you put on top? Is that what you mean by final pieces? It's just like anything else, really. It's just about, you know, spending a little bit of time auditioning them. Oh, well done, Kim, because Pat's not here, is she? Don't know where she is. What was my other question I was going to ask you? I was going to ask you another question. Oh, yes. So how many of you are new here? Obviously, I recognise quite a lot of names. But I don't know. We've had a lot of people who have subscribed, which is lovely. But I don't know. In fact, I'm going to overlap you down there. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, I think there's been just over 100 new subscribers join, which is lovely. Lovely to see. And thank you very much, I do appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to do, I want that pink on. Just a bit concerned that that pink might get lost. What bits have I got left? So I've got you, and you. Oh, I've not got that many bits left. Okay, let's have a butcher's hook. As I say, I'm a bit concerned that that pink's going to get lost, which is a shame. But I've got that there. Let's put you on there. We'll put you on there, and hopefully that image that I'm going to put on, there'll be a tiny bit of the pink showing. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. Okay. Nicola's put, I'm an old subby, but you've been AWOL for a while. Well, welcome back, Nicola. It's lovely to see you again. I went AWOL for a while as well. Sandra's put, well, yes, but the small space is left to cover for the base. Oh, just find a tiny little scrap. Like I did over there. I'm sorry, I'm slightly out of frame, aren't I? Because of this camera flopping. Or, you know, just find a label of some kind to put in its place, or a bit of an image. I wonder if I do that, then I'm kind of getting that pink in then, aren't I? Haha. We might have solved my problem. So if I put you there, yes. Yes, 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 yes. So about to there. Okay, and then I've just got this corner to do. So maybe not overhanging the edge enough. Bit of the blue, but then I've got blue down in that corner down there. What we got? Yeah, let's do that bit. Okay, and we'll put that on there. I'll put my glue in the wrong spot. Dozy moo. Okay. Want it overhanging carrot. There we go. There we go. Right, so let me just try and get you in shot a little bit now. Let me move them, because the same with this camera keep up and down. Might have to get a new arm. So there we go. We all want to know about the butcher's hook. Okay, so have you heard of Cockney rhyming slang? Just whilst I have a slurp of tea. So down in London, it's called, the way that they talk is called, or some of the Londoners, the old Londoners do Cockney rhyming slang. So they use alternative words that rhyme with the words that they're trying to say. And butcher's hook is an alternative to have a look. Hook, look. So let's have a butcher's hook. Let's have a look. There you go. Hi there, Judy. So yeah, having a butcher's hook means having a look. Sorry, I will come out with these silly idioms, won't I? But anyway, so as you can see, that is now all covered. I've covered over that central spine area, so that's going to bend nicely. And if I flip it over, I've got all this overhang here on the edge, so I'm going to straighten that up. So there you go. You can learn something new every day, they say. And you've just learned Cockney rhyming slang and what a butcher's hook is. So like apples and pears is stairs. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of apples and pears. So I'm cutting this down to about 3/4 of an inch-ish. Thereabouts. And some of these bits I would keep, but the rest I will throw. Because there comes a point where there's only so much that you can hold on to. Oh, my husband has said let's have a butcher's, and I never realised, married 41 years, he's not a Londoner, it's cultural appropriation. Yeah, there you go, you see, now you know what he's on about. Let's have a butcher's means let's have a look. Okay, so those are now sort of roughly trimmed down, and I'm now going to trim my corners. So I want to leave that a little tiny bit between the corner of the card and the corner of the paper, and I can test it out. See, I can see that's overhanging by quite a lot there, so I can afford to trim it down a little bit more, but I don't want to trim it too much. And I covered this the other day, this little triangle that I just cut off from there, I could actually stick that in there, so that if I cut this too much, when I fold it over, if there's a gap, then it's kind of hidden by that piece of paper there. So I am going to trim just a tiny fraction bit more. And you watch, tiny fraction, I'll probably do too much. Let's try that. So there you go, look, a tiny fraction bit more. And you, as I say, you can keep testing it. And if you end up with a perfect mitre, hey. But if you don't, and you end up with the gap, stick that down on the inside, and then stick that down, and it doesn't, you know, the hole's not as visible. So there you go. So again, we'll fold this corner over. Beautifully done that, Carol. And we'll do this corner. Don't you be sticking down yet. And then we can do that one. Yeah, we can get away with that. You see, the good thing about the 10-minute video is you don't get to watch all of this bit. All of this bit's cut out. So the 10-minute videos are great because they're over and done with quick. But you don't get to learn all the little tiny techniques. Okay, so I'm going to use this glue. So this is my art glitter glue. Stick that bit over. Hello there, Pat. Oh, I had the same problem with my computer a little while ago. My computer wouldn't comply either. I was chuntering a bucket full going, do you not realise I've got a video I've got to do? It was like, no, I'm going to take my time. Like, But you got here in the end, so that's good. Okay. Dumbles. Keeps licking his paws at the minute. So as you can see, there's bits that this one is sat on top of this one, and this one is sat on top of this one. So I need to glue this one down first. Then I need to glue that one. And then this one. Okay, so this one's going over first, that one's going over second. Now I'm rushing through this a bit, just so as it's not too boring for you guys, but also because of what I'm using these for. You know, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, because I'm using this for myself. If I was selling this journal, I would be taking far more time over this than I am doing. Oh, just got glue on the front. Don't want that. Okay, then it's that one. Dumbledore, stop licking your paw. You's be making it poorly. Hey, leave it. It gives me a sneaky little look when I do that. I'm like, oh, hadn't realised I was doing that, Mummy. Little monkey. Okay, that one first. And that one. I've been very, very lucky, Cindy, because touch wood, tap my head, that's the one thing he hasn't done. And he turned 2 last month, this month. And he hasn't taken to biting furniture, but he does like chewing his toys to pieces. Okay. Ta-da! One cover done. Well, the outside of the cover anyway. Right, let me just have a swig of my tea. Or my brew, as we call it in Yorkshire. So I'm just having a swig of my cup of tea. Oh, sorry, not the camera. I can't believe it's 2 either. So I'm going to just roughly cut this out for now, because then it'll be easier to mark out how big I actually want it. Oh, and this was from Seven Plaza's coffee shop. Now, I have a feeling I'm going to need it sort of this kind of width, but I'm going to cut it to here, as I say, because I can trim it down. There we go. But getting rid of all that excess is going to be a bit helpful. But look at the colours. Yes. Me likey. All right. So, the next part then is to very carefully fold this, because one of the things I've got to be careful of is that the paper doesn't crack. So, I'm just easing it and teasing it. And then I'll do it with the flat of my folder. So not on the edge like that, but on the flat. And if that paper does crack, then obviously I can put some lace or something over the edge. Rosie Lee, cup of tea. Correct, Karen. So that's the back cover. That looks quite pretty, doesn't it? And then this is the front. So now I can see how wide it needs to be. So in fact, I'm going to have to cut it to this brown line and to that brown line. So let's cut those 2 bits off first. And this is going to take over quite a lot of the front. So yeah, I'm going to have to do that all the way around. I asked the question on my Facebook page the other day about freebies. And I haven't responded to anyone because, as I say, I just haven't had time with the junk journal embellishments videos. The reason why I was asking was there was I belong to quite a couple of groups, and a lot of them do freebies on there. People donating a freebie that they have created. Oh, that's going to look pretty on there. I'm liking that. And there was another page that I belonged to. I felt something sticking up there. There's another page that I belonged to. And a lady went on there and went, I haven't seen any freebies from you lately. And I was a bit like, whoa. You're honoured to get those freebies, Mrs. Lady. Because she doesn't have to do that. And I just think that there is a few people that just basically go for freebies. And I think that most people do what we were saying, well, what most of you were saying on the Facebook page, is that you go and get the freebie, but it then encourages you to go and have a look at kits and other things that they sell. But I think there's quite a few that kind of expect and only use the freebies because, I've seen it on some of the other groups that I'm on. And I was just a bit like, oh, do you know, that's really rude. And when you go onto Ko-fi, you can see the numbers that people have downloaded, how many people have downloaded that particular item. And the freebies, there's far more have gone out. And I often think, I wonder how many of you have actually bought the designer a cup of coffee to say thank you. Even just one cup of coffee. I realise that not everyone can afford that, but the majority could. So, you know, when they've sold like 160 of something, and I bet you only a small handful have gone and bought the creator a cup of coffee. So, you know, I'm no angel. I've forgotten a couple of times in the early days of me starting out downloading freebies. I kept forgetting to go back because, you know, trying to download them onto my computer, and I just forgot to go back. But I really try to make a point of it now, and that's not a hint, by the way. But it was just something that I observed. A freebie up on my Ko-fi shop, and loads of people were downloading it. Great, there to have as a freebie. But out of all the people that downloaded this particular design, it was only a page or two. You know, it wasn't anything major. It wasn't a kit, because some designers give away freebie kits. But I think out of all the people that went and downloaded it, I think maybe one or two bought me a cup of coffee to say thank you. And I thought, whoa, that in some ways it's a little bit, not naughty, but I just thought it's a bit rude. I mean, even a private message to say thank you, not even necessarily has to be a cup of coffee, but just a message to say thank you. Some acknowledgement that you've appreciated the work that has been given. But then, you know, you get people who are rude on YouTube as well. And it's like, you know, we do this. That you as the viewer kind of get this free of charge. Well, you do get it free of charge. But people's expectations sometimes go over and above, and they're a bit like, excuse me, but you do realise you're getting this for free, don't you? I just think some people's... Unfortunately, there's not many in our neck of the woods, but I do think that there's some people who are just... their expectations are just, whoa. Anyway, yeah. But that was why I asked, because I just saw so many people just taking from this one particular lady and then kicking up a fuss that there hadn't been anything free for a while. I was a bit like, that is so rude. Okay, now, I would normally cut my papers, and I'm just going to put a solid paper inside the inside cover. And I'm going to do that off camera later, because I don't actually need this cover straight away. I do need it because I've got the signature made up for it. But, you know, I can live without it for a day or two. But I wanted to show you how I went about collaging a cover. So there we go. One collaged cover with a pretty picture on the front, and that's the back, all collaged as well. Now, I could decorate at the back, but as I say, this is for me, for personal use, so I don't need to actually do it. Right. The inside, I've got some 12 by 12 papers, just very plain. I want them used up because I'm into using stuff up at the minute. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip, which I'm going to stick down the middle to strengthen up the spine area. And then I'm going to cut 2 pieces, one for there, which will go nearly up to that centre fold. And then the second piece will go nearly up to that centre fold. And then, as I say, I've got that centre piece already there. But I'm not going to do that now. So I'm going to save you the boring part of that. But does this float your boat? Does doing the collaged cover appeal to you visually and actually practically of making it? Just whilst I have a slip of tea. Okay, so I've been here nearly an hour. Thank you very much, Jan. Thank you very much, Cindy. But is it the sort of thing that you would do? You make it look easy. It's just a case of plonking a load of bits of paper on. Now, as I say, I have covered this previously in a fairly recent video. Because this is the bit I really want to tell you about. Well, the next bit. And I think I entitled the video "The Easiest Journal I've Ever Made." So I've just put "This floats my boat." Yay! So basically, I'm using 3 sheets of paper. Now, this is gold. And I went to use it in a journal not so long back. And when you come to glue stuff on it, it goes all funny. And I didn't like it. But it's ideal for me using up for this. So all I'm using for one signature is 3 pieces of paper. So I want to fold it up, each individual sheet, and crease it. Cindy's put, I'll probably end up with my eyelids glued shut. Oh dear. And I want, I want my ruler and I want a pencil. Let me turn it sideways on. Diane's put she's done masterboards, but never thought about doing it for a cover. I like the way it looks. Right, and I am measuring, if I can see my rule. There we go, 2 inches is there, because when I turn that rule over, I can't see out. There we go, so I'm measuring 2 inches from the top and marking it, and I'm measuring 2 inches from the bottom. So it doesn't matter on the height of your paper, all we're doing is measuring 2 inches regardless of what size your paper is, unless of course you're dealing with a 4-inch piece of paper, and then of course it's not going to work. But whatever you measure down, you need to measure up, right? And then, can you see those pencil marks? No, maybe not. We're going to snip up that centre fold up to that 2-inch mark. Turn it round. Snip it up to that 2-inch mark. Okay. Second piece of paper. So there's no stitching involved. It's brilliant. I love this technique. I love it, love it, love it. I was actually watching a Joggles video the other day. And she created this journal with a slip stitch. And she used the Karen collection watercolours thread. Well, some of you may know. I used to be an embroidery designer. And I used to create for the Karen collection. So I have a lot of her threads. And in fact, hang on. So this is one of the Karen collection watercolour threads. How beautiful are those colours. And she stitched this journal using this thread. Not this particular one, but you know, the watercolour threads. And I thought, oh, I'm going to have me some of that. So don't be surprised if you see very soon a journal stitched using watercolour threads. Because I like things that are easy. I don't like to make hard work for myself. That's why I don't like to make big journals, because I think it's just a lot of hard work to decorate them all, and it takes you a long time. And I always want to move on to the next idea. Right, so 2 pages done where we're measuring 2 inches down that centre fold and snipping up and down to that point. Okay, 3rd piece of paper, we're doing a bit different. So we're folding it in half. We are measuring the 2 inches down. Hang on, let me get myself in position because the camera's in the way. 2 inches down, which is to there, and 2 inches up, which is to there. I want my little board. And I want my rule. And instead of cutting to there and from there to there, I'm going to cut from that point to that point. Okay, so I'm going to slit down that middle bit down there. And I'm going to cut just slightly beyond those pencil marks. Okay, so I've now got a little slit just there. And there's my pencil mark. And I've cut it just slightly beyond. And the same at this end. In fact, I probably want to go a little bit more at this end. There. Put you in there, you in there. You can go back there. And you want to go in there. Okay, so we've got 1 piece with a middle hole and 2 pieces with slits at each end. So we're going to take the 2 pieces of paper with the slits and we're just going to lightly roll and then we're going to pass that roll through that centre slit. Okay, so we're passing it through there. And then we're going to unroll. Be careful. Come on, unroll nicely. Do you know, any other time it just unrolls. Come on, you little monkey. Just bear with me. Yeah, it does, Sandra, when it works. This one's stuck for some reason. It's going to end up ripping. Come on. Can I tell you, this normally just goes dink, dink, dink. Hang on, let me just roll it back up and pull it back out again. It's because I'm on a live, yeah, it is. See, look, slips out beautifully. And it's ripped me paper now down here. But anyway, there we go. Let's do that. Haha, there we go. So maybe just roll up 1/2, Carol, not both halves. And then line it up. Right, so we've just slotted 2 pieces of paper through that centre hole. So we should now have 1, 2, 3 pieces on that half, and 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3 on that half. We're going to line it up top and bottom. I love this technique because it is so quick to do. And I'm just going to use my magic tape to put over that hole. Look, I've got something underneath me magic tape now, so it's not so magic now. You can see it now because there's something underneath it. There we go. Then I'm going to flip the whole thing over. And I'm going to repeat on the back side. Ooh, don't do that. And yes, by the way, because someone asked me last time, it is called magic tape. All right. And you can write on it. I've extended just a little bit beyond the edge there. Okay, so flip it back to that centre point. Am I having a hot flash? I think I must be. So then I would turn the page and do the same again with my magic tape. I would then turn the page again and cover it with my magic tape, and then put those 2 pages back, and we're back to the centre. Then I would turn that centre page over, and then I would put my magic tape down that bit. And then I would turn that page over and put my magic tape down that bit. And now all those pages are really held in place. That's it. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 pages. All right. I'm going to pretend that I have magic taped all of those pieces of paper. And I am going to pretend that I've covered that with paper as well. So I have then got my thread, and as you can see, it's quite a chunky thread. In fact, I could use that watercolours. Never thought of that. Okay, pull that in. That's a tad too long, Carol. I've got to turn it that way. And then I'm going to tie a knot up near the top and try and put my finger on there while I do a double knot. So I'm forming a loop, and I'm going through the hole once, twice, 3 times later, and I love you. Yeah, I know, I'm rubbish at singing, aren't I? And then pull that in really tight. Okay, scissors. I think I've lost the plot today. I think that girl with the music has driven me nuts. And then in the end of the thread here, I would do, again, form a loop and put my thread through once, twice, and I'm not going to burst into song this time, and do a little knot, but leave a little tail. Do the same on the other end. Once. Twice. Did I get it all? Yeah. Pull it in. And then with a pin, just going to separate those threads out. And then I'm going to show you my magic pocket idea and see what you think. So I've now got a little tassel. Do the same with the other one. There we go. So I've got this lovely little tassel ends, and then when I open it up, I've got my little book. Now, one of the ideas that I thought of was Junk Journal July embellishments. I ought to have that big American announcement voice, hadn't I? Junk Journal July embellishments. There you go. What I thought was this could be a sample book, an ideas book. So each one of these 31-day projects that we've done, you could put a sample of each one of those in one of these books. And then you've got an ideas book. But yeah, that's basically it. We've created a book in an hour and 13 minutes. All right, I haven't quite finished it, but you know, I've got the inside to do, and I've still got my magic taping to do. But anyway, an hour and a half, let's just say, thereabouts, to make a journal, cover and pages. Good idea? I thought so. Right, my idea. So here's a journal, a signature I made earlier, and I want some pockets on here. And as I said before, my problem with the vellum, it's great because it's something that's see-through, but it's quite delicate and it can rip easily. But also, if your glue's not very strong, the pocket can start popping off. So then you end up sticking it, and it's like, oh, another task to do before I can actually journal. So I was thinking to my little self, what can I use where I'm going to stick a pocket on it and it's not costing me a lot of money? So I came up with a bit of a brainwave. Now, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but these are the dock enclosed pockets. So you'll find these on the front of any packages that you order, and basically they pop your invoice or whatever receipt inside that pocket in there, peel off all this backing, stick it to your parcel. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. And I thought to myself, ooh, I wonder if I could use these. So I bought some to give it a go, and I got a pack of, I can't remember now whether it was 50 or 100 for £3.24. Something ridiculous like that. It was less than £4. In fact, it was less than £3.50, and you get loads. And we're actually going to cut these in half. So whatever it is you order, you're going to get twice the amount because we're making 2 pockets out of 1 piece. Now, I don't know whether you can see, but it's sealed here at the bottom. It's been like heat sealed. So you need to remember the heat sealed side of it. And this little pocket bit here actually gets closed up. When you take this paper backing off here and the paper backing off here, it seals that sort of slit shut. So if you want to make 2 pockets, you basically have a decent pair of scissors to start with, and you cut it in half. As I said, a decent pair of scissors. Try these. Oh, you're not much better. Oh, heck. job I got a lot of these scissors, isn't it? I don't think you're going to be much better because you were sticking. Oh, there we go. So you're going to cut it in half. So now we've got a pocket here that's see-through, and we peel off the paper backing and we stick it onto the page. With this one, the pocket is sealed down at the bottom, although we've got this slit in. That will be sealed shut, and then you'll have another pocket there. Now, trust me, I've done a few of these now. It takes a lot to get it just right. So this one's fairly easy because you just peel off that bottom bit, and that is now sticky. So you then stick that in place, and you have to be careful because this can curl under real easy. So I'll stick that in place there, flip it over, peel off the other side of the backing, and flip it over. And that is now glued in place, and I've got a pocket. Hang on, just show you, I've got a pocket. From there to there, a pocket. Right, now it doesn't always, when you stick it back down, it doesn't always, this inside part here doesn't stick down and look pretty. But we're putting stuff inside it, and it's only for you, so it doesn't matter. This part was the bit that always caused me the problem, this bottom bit, because trying to get that little cut, this is like doing them, you know, your sticky flowers and whatever, you're trying to get that edge, and the only way that I found that I could do it, and even then it's not perfect, but I scratched along the bottom, but you've got to be careful that you don't pierce all the way through. And I peeled off that bottom bit. There we go. But can you see, look how it's ripping. Just there. Just ripping. And that bit was the bit that was the pain in the bum for this bit. So you have to see if you can just lift it up. And if you can't, you might have to leave that bit. So in fact, I'll tell you what, I'll leave that bit. And as I say, you've also got to be careful that it doesn't sticky back on itself. There we go. So we've got that bit off. Remember, that's the sealed part, so we want that at the bottom. Pull it back. So I'm going to try and do this one a little bit sort of messy, if it will let me. Oh, do you know, any other time it's gone real messy. Now, if you don't like it looking messy, there's no reason why you can't insert a piece of paper in there to just cover over that backing bit. But as I say, by the time you've put your bits and pieces in here, you know, you don't get to see that back, and because it's clear, you can see what's inside. So here's one I did earlier. Let me just put these scissors away. So, enclosed document wallets. If you search for enclosed document wallets on Amazon, you'll see that some that have red writing on them saying documents enclosed. But that's what they are. Documents enclosed wallets. So here's one I did earlier. So this is going to be my entomology stuff. So I've put some of my flutterbys in there. I actually want to do some pockets. So even though I've cut it in half, I want to do some that are a little bit shorter, because these are just a little bit too short for this height of cutting it in half. So I'll cut that a little bit shorter and then have some longer ones at the back. So you can see, look, it doesn't always stick down very neatly, but by the time you've put your bits and pieces in there, Hang on. So see, it doesn't always stick down neatly, but it does the job of being a pocket to hold your bits and pieces. So you see, that pocket could do with being a little bit bigger for these particular tags. But it works. I mean, look how rubbish that one looks. But, you know, by the time you've put your bits in, nobody would know that the backside is a little bit on the crinkly side. So you can cut these to whatever length you need them to be. So you could just chop off that top bit, you know, that little tiny flat bit, and have quite a deep pocket. And then have a deep pocket at the bottom, maybe a shorter one on the top. But I just thought that this actually works better than the vellum. There's a little bit of stretch in the plastic, just a little bit of stretch. Your pockets are not going to pop off. So this size, I mean, obviously it'll depend on what size your pages are, but this size was 6, I think. Oh, hang on, wrong end of my ruler. So this one measures 4 3/4 inches wide by 4 1/4 inches deep. Okay, so they were A6, Alison. Okay, but it does take a little bit of practice to get that peeling off of the backing for the bottom part. You know, the top part's fairly easy. Get off that paper backing at the bottom. So you might utilise a couple just having a bit of a practice. But as I say, I did find that just running a needle or a pin just along the edge of the paper and not really digging in too far, because you'll rip the pocket on the front, but just gently creasing it, it peels it off a lot easier on that bottom part, because this top bit comes off real easy, but this bottom bit takes a little bit more practice to get that just right. And as I say, it doesn't matter how bad the back side of it looks, because by the time you've put your bits and pieces in, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. So, as I say, I want to make a few of these because I have so many little bits cut out, and I want to make one for like ink and page, all her embellishments from all her papers. So I want to make one of these just purely for her stuff. I want to make another one for Seven Plaza's little bits and pieces. I want to make one for words, one for numbers, one for labels. I mean, I could just keep going on and on and on. Postage stamps. So then, instead of having little pockets and bits and pieces, I'm going to have a library. Where's my new one? I'm going to have a library of these books sat on my shelf. This entomology image, that was from Seven Plaza. Again, I can't remember. There's one that's a freebie and there's one where there's the kit to buy. And I have a feeling this might have been from the kit. This one is from a new lady that I've just started using. Oh, God, I've forgotten her name. I showed you the owl pictures that the foxy something. I'll have to look her up. So yeah, I just thought it was a neat way of storing all these little bits and pieces. Vellum's expensive. The pockets pop off unless you stitch them down. I don't want to spend all that time stitching down my pockets. I just want to go bang, bang, bang. Pockets are there. Slot my stuff in. So yeah, so it's like I've had to spread these out into 3 pockets because I would have liked to have put them into 2, but I know that if I do too much thickness, these pockets are just going to pop off. So I'm having to spread things out a little bit more. Hang on. What? Hang a label off one of the cords. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hang a label on there. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tab on the edge of each page. So, like, I can put these, I know that these are my words. I know that these are someone else's words, so I could put their name on there. So that when I've finished using these up, I can go back to the printable on my computer and go and print myself some more. So yeah, so I thought, you know, I could put tabs on the edge as well. So that's why I will be making lots of these, having a little library all made in the same way. And I just think that they will make a really lovely collection. I mean, even if I end up having 20 of these, I don't care, because 20 of these will look far nicer than having, I mean, hang on, let me just get one. So I've been using blank CD cases and stacking them in a box, which is great because they're very, very see-through and I can just flick through them. But I can't see, like I couldn't see what this one was about because there's small stuff in the front. I did think about using these on my page, but I thought, oh, I've got to glue them in, and I don't know what glue's going to work best, and it's probably going to be glossy accents, and that's going to cost me a fortune in that glue because that's an expensive glue. So I was like, what can I use that has this effect but is sticky on the back? Then I thought about using double-sided tape, and I thought, oh, that's just going to end up drying out and popping off. And then I thought of these, and I thought, oh, they're already sticky. So, long term, don't know how long they're going to last. But for now, I'm liking the idea. I like these books. I like the fact that I'm utilising those Amazon envelopes. I'm using up scraps so that I'm not throwing them away, and, you know, they're not just sat in a box. They're actually being used. And then I get a pretty picture from the front. And then, yeah, I mean, you can tell, look, I've started, you don't need that many pages. That's why, again, I liked this idea of just the 3 sheets of paper, because you can't then overfill it, because there's nothing going to be worse than having a book that's this thick and chunky, because it's going to be hard to find stuff. So that's, this one is already filling out. You know, so by the time I've filled it up, it's probably going to be about like that. And that's just with 3 sheets of paper. So, yeah, I loved this idea. And if you loved it too, I hope that you'll go and pass it on to your friends, because it helps me out a lot for them to come and have a look. I'll have to have a look, Brenda. I just can't remember her name at the top of my head. The Foxy something. I've become a member of her Ko-fi page as well, so that I can get some of her freebies. But she has some really beautiful designs. For the autumn journals, I want to use her owls in one of my autumn journals I want to make. So, yeah, there you go. There's 3 of my books already, and I want to make some more. Okay, guys, I am going to go. Please leave a comment in, underneath the description box. It's very much appreciated if you do, and it helps the algorithms to sort of see that, there's things happening on these videos, and you need to show other people. But it really helps if you can share as well. Or if you've made something of your own that's been from one of my videos and you belong to a group, you can go, look at what I made. I was inspired by. And then it helps other people to come and take a look. So I'm going to go and get, oh no, I'm going to go and take the dog out for a walk first, and then I'm going to get ready for tomorrow's video that I will make in the morning. So thank you for joining me. It's been lovely having you here, and I'll see you all again tomorrow. See you later, guys. Bye for now. Bye.